Hello, everyone. Welcome to chapter 231 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. It is the weekly edition. And what blue blazes am I doing? Turning a bowl with my hollowing tool. If you want to see what that's all about and learn about this cutter a little bit, all you need to do is stay tuned. Well, yeah, that is kind of a strange thing to be doing, turning a bowl with my hollowing tool or turning the inside of the bowl with my hollowing tool. Well, the reason that's happening is because many, many years ago, probably 20 plus years ago, um, because of an event called the MLA collaboration, there are many world class turners that end up in my neck of the woods here in central Saskatchewan. The event still is ongoing, and the location has changed, but the event, the core of the event remains intact. So I happened to go to a class that was hosted by the PA Turners class with Mike Tchaikovsky. And I had a great time at that class. I still remember it very vividly, so I had a lot of fun. But one of the activities that Mike got us to do is to learn to get the feel of our hollowing tools, turn a bowl, do the inside of the bowl with your hollowing tool rather than your bowl gouge. Um, I thought that was a great idea. And since I was teaching and looking to pass these skills on to students, when we hollowed in school, and yes, we did do some hollow vessels in school, uh, I had them do the inside of a bowl first with their hollowing tool to get the feel of it, to learn how the tool's reacting when you can see it, so that you can figure out what it's going to do when you can't see the tip. Okay, so that's what I started to do, and that's why I started to do it. Had a great class. In fact, on Instagram last week, I saw that Mike had a class at was it a craft supply store or something like that in Utah? Maybe I'm guessing, but yeah, I've enjoyed following Mike on Instagram. It's been wonderful. Um, in today's video, I thought what I would do is I had another dilemma at the last Hub City Turner / Saskatchewan Woodworkers Guild class that we hosted here, not this last weekend, but the weekend before. So one of my friends had come to the class and he was doing a little hollow vessel. Remember, this was a burl class, so there wasn't really a set project. People turned what they felt the best use of their burl was. So Willie decided he wanted to do a hollow vessel, and I gave him my hollowing tool, and I had a carbide on here, and it just wasn't cutting well. Now, I'm pretty sure that carbide was probably done, but I didn't really have anything that I could replace it with quickly. So I quickly made one of these high speed steel cutters that obviously I copied from the instructor, Trent Watts. So many years ago at a Trent class, I always traveled with graph paper. So I went and I don't know if I asked permission or I didn't. I must have felt I knew him well enough that he wouldn't care. But I basically took all his homemade hollowing tools, laid them out on my graph paper, and drew around them. So, and this is my absolute favorite hollowing tool, and it's a direct copy of one of his. So that's that was a lot of fun. So anyway, what kind of got me thinking of hollowing again is we're looking for different class ideas for the turning groups that I'm a part of. And one of the things that we'd like to do is hollow turning, but a concern is that people really don't have the tools to do it. So I think over the next maybe couple of months, and I'll bring you along for that, I'm going to make a couple of hollowing tools and some handles, and maybe we can get 5 or 6 lathes set up. So I have most of the steel already. I think I have everything I need. And I ordered a little bit more of this. This is high-speed steel metal lathe. It's a metal lathe parting tool, basically, and it works really good for this. So I think with that in mind, let's take you to the bench and show you how I make these cutters. It really doesn't take long, and they work really, really well. So let's go and do that. Well, the material that I use to make this little cutter here is really a piece of high-speed steel that is made as I've been using them in my cutoff holder on my metal lathe. So you sharpen this and you put it in a holder and you can part things off in your metal lathe with this. So it's pretty good and tough high speed steel. And it comes in blanks like this. In fact, I've just ordered two more blanks because I think what I'm going to make is kind of a class set of hollowing tools so that we can provide another opportunity in my shop for people to learn. So that's what I started with. You can tell I took one out of here already. Um, this doesn't drill well. So some of the things for the cutter, for example, the hole for the attachment bolt here really ends up being a slot. And that's actually okay too, because you can move it around and get it where you want it. But so let's get started on this. Now, I didn't have anything to go on when I did this one, so I'm going to do it the same way. Um, you want more of an ellipse rather than a round. I'm just going to sketch it. This sketch in the end won't really mean all that much because I can't cut it like this. I think maybe a little more of a nose. Okay, I think that should do. All right, so then the grinder, and I thought I had a better cutoff disc than I did, but I guess I'm out. So we're just going to cut this with what I have. Let's see if that's going to work. Okay, here we go. It wants to move in the vise a little bit, but I'm going to go to the grinder and shape this yet. So getting it perfect with name's gone. Don't you hate that when you're in the middle of a video and you can't think of your angle grinder name and the cutting disc that's in it? That's just embarrassing. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit more pressure on it to try to get it to hold. But one thing that I want to do now is I want to cut the slot for the bolt that's going to go in, or for okay, here we go. Okay. Now I'm just going to check, and I should have done this ahead of time. I'm just going to take the fastener out that I used and make sure, in fact, I'm just going to do it this way. Yep, that goes. It's just a touch snug. Let's clean that up just a little bit. Okay, let's try that again. Wonderful. Okay. Now the rest of it, basically, I'm just going to cut kind of a peak on it. That's all I'm going to do. So, yeah, I wish I had a little bigger wheel, but you have to make do with what you have. So that's what we're doing. Oh, yeah, that's nice and hot. Okay, we're going to need a plier for that. Don't do that at home. That still doesn't want to come out. Well, we're going to have to snip the end off there. It's close. There we go. Not super good, but not bad. I can make that work. Um, this one isn't very neat because I did this in class or while we had a class going on, and I wanted to get it uh, into Willie's hands fairly quickly. The nice thing about this, it was amazing. I could hear right away. Like I didn't really have time with other people in the class to stand there and chit chat, but as I walked around the class, I could hear that it was cutting much better than the carbide that was in it. Now, I don't think that's a really good comparison because I don't think the carbide was any good anymore. So I don't know, out of a stick like this, I've gotten two out already. There's probably at least another two in here. So I believe these things were, well, with taxes and everything, with shipping from Busy Bee in Canada here, they're they're about $20 each Canadian. So, but I'm sure for my American friends out there, there'd be lots of places for you guys to pick up stuff like this. Probably a lot easier than it is for me. You guys seem to have the advantage of superior, not superior retail, but just more options. Anyway, that is that. And now we're gonna. Oh, yeah, it's cool enough to handle. Now we're gonna head over to the grinder and we're gonna start grinding this to the right shape. Ooh, this one looks better than the one I did over there. Okay, let's go do that. We're off to the grinder. Okay, well, this might be hard to see because the black of the marker kind of blends in with the black of the tool deck here. I moved you over to this grinder because I thought I could get the video better. I also tried to make a device to control this, but it doesn't grip enough. I don't know if it's 100 grit foam paper. It just doesn't grip enough to turn it. So unfortunately, I'm going to be doing this with my fingers, just like I did um, on the turning class day. So let's fire this up and see what I can do. Oh yeah, I can do this. You want kind of an elliptical, not just a round circle, just more of an ellipse. Okay, I'm grinding the point now. That angle looks pretty good. Nice burr on it already. And if I do it this way, my fingers are safe. If you don't feel comfortable doing something like this, it would be easy to make I think what would work really good is a valve lapping tool because it's like this, but it's got a rubber end on it. I think that would work. Okay, how are we doing for shape? That's actually not bad. I have a very, very small gap between my grinding wheel and the platform. And I need to always turn it to look at from the backside because the marker on the top is a little bit confusing. Starting to get a little hot there. I've always been told that with high speed steel, getting it a little blue isn't the end of the world. Not that I like to do it, but I try not to. But when it happens, doesn't mean the cutter is wrecked. Okay, let's do a little bit more. I'm also on my high speed grinder. I'm going to try to get a nice elliptical curve. That's starting to look a lot better. Does it have to be perfect? I don't think so. That's getting to the point where I'm thinking I'm kind of liking it. I've got a little bit of a high spot right there. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Okay, I think I've got it. Um, this angle isn't a whole lot. Um, what I used is this jig, and I'll wait for the grinder to stop. That's one of the bad things about this high-speed grinder. It coasts forever. But just to show you kind of what I did, I used this measurement here. Now I seem to remember 5 degrees or so on this cutter. I don't know exactly what it is, but let's find out. Hopefully you can see that. That looks about right there. What is that? Yeah, 6 degrees actually. So I'm out a little bit, but 5 degrees is good. 6 degrees is okay too. And I'll put a little bit of a burr back on here when I'm done shaping it with my little tool from Lee Valley. Okay, that's here. I'll show you the backside. That's the grinding done, I think. I might have to try it a little bit to see what I think about it, but I think we're done. So let's move on to the point where we clean it up and put the burr on it, and away we go. Okay, well, we're off the grinder, and I want to get the marker off of it. So I'm just going to grab this little diamond hone, and this actually kind of flattens out the burr too. Now I think I'm going to sharpen it on this wheel quickly, just run around, give it a little bit of a crisp edge, and then I'm going to go over to my burnisher and burnish it, and away we go. So this I'm going to slow down a little bit. I like this grinder, the variable speed. I wish it had another quarter horse. I wish it was a 1 horse motor, but did I go the wrong way? Nope, I didn't. Okay, that is the right way. So I just took this out of that other one and put it in this one, so I know the angle is exactly the same. Just going to give it a little bit of an edge. I like that. I'm going to go around one more time. I didn't really go around here much. There we go. Okay. Now off to the burnisher. Looking good. 0. Okay, we're at the burnisher here. I took the pivot pin out because I don't need it. I don't have a longer scraper or a longer surface to do like on a tool edge. So I'm just going to take and push that against there. This is a little hard to do. And I may not do this every time while I'm using it. Often what I've done is just gone to the grinder and put the edge back on, and that's been okay. We'll try this though. This just takes more time, which isn't always desirable. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying my best to put a nice burr on there. We're going to go and we're going to put this in. We're going to try it. But that basically is the cutter made. And I did it pretty much all in real time, so it doesn't take long to do. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, let's move on. Well, I'm back at the lathe. I didn't change cutter off camera because I wanted you to see that I actually changed it. So we're going to probably drop it in the sawdust here. That'd be wonderful. I'm going to take this one out. This is still a good cutter. I'm just going to clean it up. And we're going to put the new one in. This is the new one. You can tell I took a little bit more time on this one. The fit is nicer. And let's see if I got the angle right. It's not quite the way I want it yet. The nice thing about this is you can change this. Like, you don't have to have it the same way all the time. Let's try that. Snug it down good. I forget what size this is, but in a future video, I'm going to make some more of these. My goal is, I think I have 2 of them here already, out of a little lighter steel, like 1/2 inch. This is 5/8, I believe, and it really works well. But I'm going to make some lighter ones and some handles, probably wooden handles, because they're a little faster for me to do. And I want to set up my student lathe so that we could actually do a hollow vessel class, which would be kind of cool to do. So before I cut with this and see how it works, I don't have the tip quite right yet. I'm going to change that. But I think I'm so thankful that I've always been around turners that have been willing to share what they do. I am not a professional. I turn for fun. Uh, we have some classes in my shop, which are a lot of fun. But I'm not a pro. But I really appreciate the professionals who've taken time in their careers to have worked with me. For example, Trent Watts teaching here all the time. Um, Trent's an awesome turner and a very good instructor, so that's been really good. I've I've watched demos from Mike Hostelak and taken a class or 2 from him, which is amazing. And for this one, way back, Mike Tchaikovsky was in Saskatchewan and treated us all to a really cool weekend class. So my thanks to those people, because without their input, and yeah, I had to pay for the classes, but so what? That everything costs these days, so paying a little bit for a class isn't that big a deal. But anyway, I've I've talked enough. Let's see how this thing works. Which controller am I on here? Oh, that one. Okay, get nice and steady and gently. Cuts wonderfully. I'm not sure if in the future when I sharpen these things, if I'm going to take them over to put a burr on them. They seem to come with enough burr right off the grinder, and I think that's what I'm going to do. That's what I did with this one, and I think this one actually cuts. Yeah, it's got a little more burr on it than that one. I kind of sharpened it and then I took it off and then I went here to raise it again. And maybe I'm not getting quite enough pressure on it to do it properly. But I think I'm just going to go straight off the grinder and come and cut. Now, I haven't hollowed anything since the last time I taught it in school here, which is a while ago. Um, COVID disrupted everything in my shop program. Adding or renovating the shop was another huge distraction where we didn't have anything to work with. It was really frustrating, but we did a lot of hollow turning over the years. And after Mike Chakosky's class, this is something I always did with students. I got them to use their hollowing tools to do the inside of a bowl. That way, they can see what's going on. And now I'm just kind of relearning again. So it's a lot of fun. So yeah, we're gonna host some hollowing classes in here. And my dream is to make hollowing arms for some of my lathes so that we can do one of those type of classes. Yes, with a small lathe, everything's smaller. But I also think that's a great way to learn. You don't want to necessarily learn on a huge vessel. Make something small that uses the same skills as making something big. So anyway, with that in mind, just a special thank you to all the turners that have influenced me in my career, and that includes a number of students because when you work with kids, you always learn things, which is great. So anyway, with that in mind, this is the end of the weekly edition. Easter's coming up. We're going to do a weekend edition. Again, not exactly sure what it is. I've got a few things that it could be, but we'll excuse me. We'll figure that out, and you'll see it on the weekend sometime. So anyway, thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the weekend, the Easter edition.